Something about this connection is closer to becoming real than either of you expected. You may have felt it in the quiet moments, that soft, invisible attention around you, as though someone's heart keeps turning toward you, even when their mouth stays silent. Astral Card Vault is here, and only take what resonates, but there is an energy of a younger heart, a fresh romantic energy, someone fully adult yet emotionally tender, gathering the courage to step forward. And what they are hiding may surprise you. With this Ten of Cups energy, there is a dream forming behind their eyes, not just attraction, not just curiosity. This feels like someone imagining what it would be like to belong beside you. The two cats on this card, leaning into one another beneath those golden cups, feel like a symbol of emotional safety, mutual warmth, and a love that does not need to shout to be real. This person may see you as someone rare. There is something about your presence that feels peaceful to them, almost like entering a room where the noise finally stops. You may carry yourself with confidence, but also softness, mystery, but also kindness, distance, but not coldness. And that mixture may be exactly what has unsettled their heart. They may have tried to dismiss this feeling at first. Maybe they told themselves it was admiration. Maybe they called it a passing crush, a sweet thought, a little spark that would fade. But it did not fade. It seems to have grown roots in the secret garden of their mind. There is something they have not said yet. They may be watching for the right opening, the right message, the right accidental moment that does not feel accidental at all. A smile held too long, a compliment that sounds casual but carries a hidden pulse, a small attempt to be near you, a sudden reaction when your name appears. Their next move may reveal more than their words ever could. This Ten of Cups whispers about emotional fulfillment, but here it is not a prediction carved in stone. It is a mirror. It shows what this person may be yearning for: psychologically closeness, reassurance, a bond that feels accepted, and maybe even a future they are almost afraid to admit they want. You may soon notice one sign that changes everything. And that sign may begin with clarity, because this Queen of Swords energy feels like truth standing at the doorway, not rushing in, not begging to be seen, just waiting with quiet certainty. This is why the attraction may be getting harder for them to hide. There is something about you that feels clear to this person. Not easy, not simple, but clear. You may have a way of seeing through people without even trying. You may not chase explanations. You may not need to fill every silence. And to this younger heart, this emotionally fresh adult energy that can feel both magnetic and intimidating. They may sense that you would know if they were not being real. That is part of the pull. The white cat on this card sits with such calm authority, wearing a crown, holding the sword upright, looking ahead as though nothing false can pass unnoticed. This may be how they experience your energy. Even when you are gentle, there is discernment around you. Even when you are kind, there is a boundary. Even when you are open, there is still something sacred they know they must respect. And that may be why their feelings are not coming out in a loud or reckless way. They may be drawn to your beauty, your voice, your presence, your warmth, but it does not stop there. Their attraction may be tangled with admiration. They may admire the way you think, the way you respond, the way you hold yourself when life is not easy, the way you can be soft without seeming lost. You may feel like emotional safety to them, but also like truth. And that combination can make a person nervous. Because this is not someone who only wants attention from you. This feels like someone who wants to be understood by you. They may want to be seen as capable, mature, sincere, worthy of being close to you. They may be quietly asking themselves, would they take me seriously? Would they feel what I feel? Would they open the door if I finally knocked? But there is a deeper reason this has not been spoken yet. This person may know that once they say something, the connection changes. Once the sword of truth comes down, the hidden dream cannot stay hidden in the clouds. It becomes real, or it must be released, and that is why they may be measuring every word before it leaves their mouth. So if they have been quiet, watch the silence carefully, because their silence may already be confessing more than their words ever could. That quiet confession begins to move under the surface, And with this Two of Pentacles energy, there is a kind of emotional balancing act they may be trying very hard to keep under control. They may be going back and forth inside themselves. One moment, they may feel ready to reach out. The next moment, they may pull their own hand back. One moment, they imagine saying something sweet, something honest, something that lets you know you have not been imagining this energy. The next moment, they may tell themselves to stay calm, to act normal, to not reveal too much. But only take what resonates, because this could be someone who has already written a message and erased it. Someone who has opened your profile, your chat, your name, and then closed it again. Someone who has imagined how your voice would sound if you answered them with warmth instead of distance. There is an energy here of rehearsal. They may be rehearsing little conversations in their mind, what they would say if they saw you, how they would make you laugh, how they would compliment you without sounding too obvious, how they would create a reason to stay near you just a little longer. The white cat on this card looks upward at those two golden pentacles, almost as though trying to keep both worlds in motion. And that may be exactly what this person is doing. They may be trying to keep their outside world steady while their inner world keeps circling back to you, to everyone else. They may seem calm. To you, they may even seem casual, but underneath that casual energy, something stronger may be happening. A simple message may not be simple to them. A quick glance may not be quick in their heart. A small reaction, a little joke, a brief moment of attention. It may carry more feeling than they are prepared to admit. You may feel it in the pause before they respond. You may feel it in the way their energy changes when you enter the space. This younger heart may be trying to find the perfect balance between wanting you and not wanting to scare you away. They may want closeness, but they may also be afraid of exposing the depth behind their interest. They may want to be noticed, but not caught, wanted, but not vulnerable, near you, but not too obvious. And that is where the tension begins to rise. Because when a feeling keeps being balanced, hidden, softened, and delayed, eventually the hands begin to shake. Their nervousness may soon become impossible to ignore. But this nervousness does not feel careless, because the Knight of Pentacles brings in a slower, steadier kind of longing, one that moves carefully because the feeling matters. It feels careful, slow, measured, like someone standing at the edge of a feeling, holding something precious in their hands, wondering if they are brave enough to offer it. This is not the energy of someone rushing in just to see what happens. This feels like someone who may be taking their time because the feeling matters. The cat on this card holds the pentacle forward, but there is still stillness around them. The landscape feels patient. The posture feels intentional. And this may be how this younger heart, this emotionally fresh adult energy, is approaching you. Not with chaos, not with games, not with a loud entrance. More like a quiet, steady approach that has taken longer because they are afraid of mishandling what they feel. They may hesitate because they do not know how you would receive them. They may wonder if you would see them as sincere, or if you would think they are only curious. They may worry that you are too far ahead emotionally, too wise, too composed, too difficult to impress with shallow words. There may be a fear that if they come forward too quickly, they will look immature. If they wait too long, they may lose the chance. And that in-between place can be heavy. Only take what resonates, but there is an energy of someone trying to become more solid before they approach. Someone who does not just want to be noticed by you, but respected by you. Someone who may be asking themselves whether they have enough to offer, enough patience, enough consistency, enough courage, enough truth. This could be why they move slowly. Not because they do not feel it, because they feel it enough to be cautious. But the thing they fear most may not be what you think. It may not simply be rejection. It may be the thought of seeing disappointment in your eyes. It may be the fear that you will sense the depth of their feeling and still choose distance. It may be the fear that once they reveal their heart, they cannot go back to pretending this was casual. Their mind may tell them to wait. Their heart may keep stepping forward anyway. And the quiet truth is this: you may have affected their sense of self more deeply than they expected. That effect may feel sudden inside them. And the Knight of Swords brings the part of their heart that can no longer sit completely still. There is a part of them that wants to rush toward the truth, not recklessly, but urgently. The cat on this card is moving forward with the sword raised, the red scarf flying behind them. And there is a feeling of thought becoming action. Words that have been trapped in the mind may be searching for a way out. Feelings that were once quiet may now be pushing against the walls of restraint. And this may be because you do not feel like everyone else to them. You may represent something they did not know they were looking for. A kind of calm that does not feel boring. A kind of beauty that does not need to perform. A kind of intelligence that makes them want to choose their words more carefully. You may have a way of making them more aware of themselves, not because you criticize them, but because your presence seems to ask for sincerity. That is powerful. This person may be used to connections that move on the surface. Easy attention, quick chemistry, little sparks that fade as soon as reality enters the room. But with you, there is something different. They may feel that if they come toward you, they cannot come half awake. They cannot bring confusion and expect you to turn it into devotion. They cannot offer a little and pretend it is enough. You may make them want to become clearer, more direct, more honest, and maybe that surprises them. Only take what resonates, but there is an energy of someone realizing that their feelings for you are not making them smaller. These feelings may be calling them into a stronger version of themselves, braver in communication, more thoughtful in action, more willing to admit what they want instead of hiding behind timing. Jokes, pride, or silence, this is where admiration begins to turn into intention. Because admiring you from a distance may no longer feel satisfying. Thinking about you may no longer be enough. Watching, waiting, imagining, circling around the truth. It may start to feel like standing at the gate with a key in their hand and still refusing to open it. They may be asking themselves what kind of person they want to be in your eyes, not perfect, just real. And their next move may show whether this has only been a fantasy in their mind, or something finally ready to become real. And when fantasy begins asking for form, the Emperor appears with the desire to gain control over what has been feeling uncontrollable inside them. They may be trying to sit above the emotion, to look calm, to look collected, to look as though nothing has shifted. But beneath that stillness, something may be pressing against the walls of their composure. This person may not want to appear too eager. They may not want you to see how much your presence affects their mood, their thoughts, their timing, their courage. The white cat on this card sits on the throne with a crown and a steady gaze, surrounded by symbols of structure, authority, and decision. And this may reflect the part of them that wants to approach you properly, not randomly, not carelessly, not in a way that makes the connection feel cheap or rushed. They may want to do this right, but wanting to do something right can also become a reason to delay it. Only take what resonates, but this person may be caught between two strong instincts. One part of them wants to protect the current connection, whatever it is now, a friendship, a distance, a quiet awareness, a repeated crossing of paths, a space where they can still see you, still feel you near, still keep the dream alive without risking the answer. The other part of them wants to risk honesty, and that is where the pressure grows. There is something they have not said yet, and the longer it stays unspoken, the more powerful it may become. They may fear rejection. They may fear embarrassment. They may fear that speaking too directly could disrupt the rhythm between you. They may even fear that you already know, that your intuition has been reading the truth from the beginning. Because with you, they may feel exposed without being touched, seen without being questioned, understood before they explain. That can be beautiful, but it can also make someone nervous enough to hide behind control. They may act composed when they want to lean closer. They may sound practical when their heart is becoming louder than the fear. They may pretend to be unaffected, but their next move may reveal more than their words ever could. This Emperor energy says the fantasy may be asking for form now. A feeling may be asking for a decision. A hidden love may be asking whether it has the courage to stand in the real world. And soon, you may notice signs that are too specific to dismiss. Those signs may arrive like a quiet call rising through the connection. And judgment carries the feeling of something that can no longer stay buried, not necessarily loud, not necessarily dramatic, but clear enough that your intuition may pause and say, there it is. The white cat above, holding the golden trumpet, feels like a symbol of something being awakened. Feelings that were sleeping under pride, fear, timing, or hesitation may begin to rise to the surface. And the small cats below, lifting their paws toward that sound, may reflect all the little pieces of truth that have been waiting for permission to come forward. This person may begin to reveal themselves through moments that feel slightly different than before. A message that arrives faster than usual, a reply that carries more warmth than expected, a question that seems ordinary but somehow circles around your personal life, your feelings, your availability, your mood. They may ask something indirect because they are not ready to ask the real question yet. You may notice nervous laughter. You may notice them becoming more attentive when you speak. You may notice eye contact that lingers just a second too long, then breaks away as if they remembered they were trying to hide something. You may notice a compliment that sounds simple on the surface, but lands with a strange softness. Not just, you look nice, but something that feels more personal, more observed, more like they have been paying attention in silence. Only take what resonates, but there is an energy here of emotional leakage. What they feel may start slipping through the cracks of their self-control. They may show up where you are, they may react quickly to something you post, they may offer help before you ask, they may try to be useful, present, available, as though service feels safer than confession. They may become playful one moment and quiet the next, because the feeling rises too close to the surface and suddenly they do not know where to put it. And you may feel the shift before you can explain it. The air around the connection may become more charged. A small gesture may open the door to a deeper conversation. A casual check-in may turn into something softer. A passing moment may feel like it has a second meaning underneath it, waiting for you to notice. But pay attention carefully, because the most meaningful sign may not be the loudest one. It may be the one they keep repeating. And when repetition turns into warmth, the Three of Cups brings a softer opening, where connection begins to feel less hidden and more ready to be shared. Not pressure, not demand, warmth. This is the kind of energy where connection begins to feel less like a secret thought and more like something that wants to be shared in the open. The three cats lifting their golden cups carry a feeling of celebration, but also recognition. A moment where the heart says, I do not just want to admire from a distance. I want to be included in your world. And that may be where the shift begins. This younger heart is ready to step forward, but the way they step forward may first look sweet, simple, and almost harmless. A playful message, a reason to laugh, an invitation that does not immediately reveal the depth behind it. A moment where they try to create closeness without making the emotional weight too obvious. But underneath it, there may be something serious forming. This is not only passion. This is not only curiosity. There is an energy of wanting to feel chosen, but also wanting to choose you in a way that has meaning. They may be thinking about how it would feel to be more present in your life, not just as someone passing through, not just as someone sending hints from the edge of the room, but as someone who has a place near your heart. Only take what resonates, but proposal energy here feels symbolic. It may not mean a literal ring placed in a hand tomorrow. It feels more like the soul of a promise. The desire to make intentions known, the desire to stop floating in uncertainty and say, in some form, I want this to be real. A confession could become the doorway. An honest message could become the doorway. A sweet gesture, an invitation, a vulnerable conversation, even a moment of laughter that suddenly turns quiet, could become the doorway. And what may surprise you is how quickly the tone can change once they feel safe. One moment, everything is light. The next moment, there is a softness in their voice that tells you this is no longer only playful. There is care here. There is loyalty trying to grow. There is trust trying to find a place to land. They may want joy with you, but not empty joy. They may want closeness with consistency, warmth with respect, romance with emotional safety. So watch the one who keeps showing up with the same gentle effort, because this person may be preparing to show love in a way you cannot mistake. That kind of love may feel tender, and the Six of Cups brings the reminder that sweetness is beautiful, but tenderness still needs truth. This card carries a softer feeling, like affection returning to something simple. The cats among the golden cups, the flowers, the quiet house behind them. It all feels gentle, familiar, almost innocent in the emotional sense, not childish, not careless, more like the part of the heart that remembers what it feels like to care without needing to perform. And that may be what this person feels around you. They may feel a kind of comfort they cannot explain, a sweetness, a sense that being near you brings them back to a more honest version of themselves. But even when the energy is soft, you are still being asked to stay grounded. Do not chase the sign. Let the sign come closer. Do not force the confession. Let their courage find its own voice. Only take what resonates. But this may be a moment where your intuition already knows something is shifting. And still, you are being reminded not to build the whole story from one message, one glance, one moment of warmth. A real connection does not ask you to abandon your discernment. A real connection becomes clearer with time. If this person is truly ready, their actions will begin to carry the same meaning as their hidden feelings. They will not only appear when it is convenient, they will not only speak softly when the mood is perfect, they will not only send a signal and then disappear into silence again. There may be nervousness. Yes, there may be hesitation. There may be moments where they retreat because the feeling scares them. But even through that, you will begin to sense whether there is respect, whether there is consistency, whether there is emotional responsibility behind the sweetness. Because love is not only a beautiful feeling, it is also presence. It is also courage. It is also the willingness to treat your heart like something real, not like a secret place they visit only when they feel lonely. So let this unfold naturally. Let them show you who they are becoming. Let the affection reveal whether it has roots or only petals. You do not have to prove your worth. You do not have to pull the truth out of them. If this younger heart is truly ready to step forward, the hidden feeling you have sensed will begin to match their behavior in ways you can feel, not just imagine. And when hidden feelings begin to match visible behavior, the world brings the sense of something coming full circle, not ending in a cold way, more like a hidden cycle reaching the moment where it can no longer remain unfinished. The white cat in the center of this card, held inside the wreath, feels like a symbol of arrival. The crossed wands, the flowers, the stillness around the body. All of it carries the energy of a truth that has traveled through silence, nervousness, admiration, fear, and longing, and is now asking to be seen in the open. This may be where the dream from the beginning begins to touch the real world. That Ten of Cups warmth, that quiet image of two hearts leaning toward each other, may not have been only fantasy for them. It may have been the emotional picture they kept returning to when they wondered what it would feel like to be safe with you, to be accepted by you, to stand beside you without hiding the softness in their heart. Only take what resonates, but a younger heart may be ready to step forward, and their hidden love may soon become something you can actually recognize. Not just sense, not just wonder about, not just feel in the strange pauses, the lingering looks, the almost messages, the careful warmth. You may begin to see whether this person is truly moving from imagination into action. A confession may not arrive like thunder. It may come gently, a message that says more than it seems, an invitation that carries intention, a moment where their voice changes, a look that does not run away as quickly as before. And if this love is becoming real, it will not ask you to lose yourself trying to decode it. It will become clearer. It will become steadier. It will begin to meet you in ways that feel respectful, honest, and emotionally safe. Because the deepest message here is not that you must chase the possibility, it is that what is real will find a way to reveal itself through presence, through consistency, through courage, through the person who keeps choosing to show up even when their hands tremble around the truth. So trust your intuition, but also watch their actions. Receive what is honest, release what remains only smoke. And if this younger heart is truly ready, they may soon step beyond the hidden place and let their love meet you where it can finally breathe.